Hey you guys, what is up? I have my regionals tournament report for you. Sorry I didn't get this up sooner. My voice is pretty close to gone. It feels a lot deeper personally, but it might not be that and I just hear it in my head. Anyways, let's get into this report. I ended up heading up north to St. Charles, just outside of St. Louis, Missouri, competing in that regional. I went with a couple of my really good friends, Mark Oliver, who is on the channel a lot, Kevin Murphy, who's on the channel a lot as well. And just a couple other friends who haven't been on the channel, but it was a really great experience. Had a great time, I'd like to say that. Met so many people that I'd always wanted to meet on Hey Trainer. A bunch of shout outs to them, especially Montoya. I also met Tyler McCutcheon. I met Megatron from Hey Trainer. Who else did I meet? I just saw a bunch of people I hadn't seen for a while. So I had a wonderful time regardless of how I did. But let's get into my performance overall. I decided to play Eels. It was what I was comfortable with. It's also a deck I just like a lot. I was having fun playing it. I feel like it was a solid choice for the day, but there was some stuff in the meta that I didn't really predict being big, including Garbodor, which, kind of funny after I ran it all that time and, not that many people were playing it. It ended up kind of being, if there was one, a secret deck of that regional. I know it ended up making it into the top 2, so kind of a scary matchup for me too. I definitely know how that one goes. If it's running Landorus, it's an auto loss. If it's running Cure Me X, it's still pretty darn bad. So that's something to consider. Blastoise wasn't as big as I thought, and Eels ended up being bigger than I thought, and that's definitely going to come into play with how I performed. So round 1 gets off to a really late start. We started around like 12:30 or so. So 9 rounds of Swiss, 390 Masters, which is absolutely ridiculous. I can't believe there were that many people. Great to see the turnout and the healthy numbers, but it would have been nice if it were a little more evenly divided between the regionals than it was. It's a little unfortunate. About 8% of people make cut. That's just absolutely garbage. I understand, there are restrictions on how many people you can have, and it's just kind of unfortunate. But round 1, I am paired up against, I think, a Pokedad, and he's playing Potpourri, just kind of a bunch of random stuff. Vanillix, Slippery Souls, Vanillix, Gothitelle, Mewtwo, a few other things. And I end up getting a really slow start, but so does he, having trouble setting up those stage 2s. I don't even think he ran Candy, and I'm basically just able to set up and make sure my energy are in good places, kind of leave myself outs and kind of set it up so that there's not really a way that he can win, and I end up taking that one. I think I probably won. I think he took 3 prizes though. I was playing it very conservatively. I didn't want to take any risks, so I ended up starting 1-0. Second game, I actually get to go first, unlike the first one, and he flips over Landorus, so I feel really good. I get out my Emolga and a Dynamo and a Rayquaza, and end up getting 2 more on the call for family. So I'm in a pretty good position. I actually end up evolving the wrong Dynamo on a turn. I can't believe I did that. He had the catcher, but I had another Dynamo that turn to keep 3 on my bench. So I made a misplay there. But I'm able to Super Rod when I need to. And the key to this one is that he kind of dead draws a little bit in terms of supporters, maybe for a turn or 2. But more importantly than that, I think he misses 2 or 3 attachments, and that's what really does him in. Once I knock out his one Landorus, his only response is Mewtwo DCE, and then I just really get my Eels out, and from that point on there's not too much he can do. So a little unfortunate on his side. Thankfully I did go first that game. I only went first twice all day, but against Landorus, if I get to go first, I will take that trade-off versus going second versus Blastoise or something like that. The third round I'm actually playing against Blastoise, and the game is kind of uneventful. I get some of the worst prize luck I've had in quite some time. I prized 2 Dynamo and 4 Lightning and end up losing. He had catchers for the 2 Dynamo I had, and I just didn't see a Super Rod. There wasn't really much I could do. Kind of autopilot for him from there on out. I just kind of struggled, maybe took 2 or 3 prizes, but, rough situation. Round 4, I'm paired against Alex Fields, who I always have good games with, and I'm really excited. And he's playing Darkrai Mewtwo. I'm also kind of nervous because I'm 2-1, and I know that some X2s may have the chance to bubble depending on how up pairing and down pairing and drops work. But really nervous about that. But I get an okay start going second. It ends up being really weird because he has DCE for my Dynamos, and he just keeps having catchers. And he seems to dead draw as well, but he keeps top decking either Skylas or catchers. And he ends up just taking out a bunch of my Dynamos. In fact, all four. There was a turn he even skyled for it in N, and I'm just hoping he's going to play it. I dead drew 2, so really a slow game on both sides, and he doesn't play the N because he knows I have the dead draw, and that was kind of unfortunate, but it ends up coming down to I knock out this Mewtwo using 2 Static Shocks followed by a Dragon Burst for 120 and another Static Shock as he was just catching around me. It was really the only play I had, and he actually didn't really get anything set up aside from this Mewtwo. So he had 5 energy on it. My Mewtwo is prized. I ran a Mewtwo over a Raikou, which again will come into play later. But so I end up having a key turn where I Super Rod and call for family and get out 2 Dynamos. I have the 2 Eels for the next turn, and then I can start Dragon Bursting again. And he tries to junk hunt for catchers, knowing that he only has to take like 2 prizes and stuff like that. And I end up just having the really, really timely ends when I needed them, and I end up just pulling it out by the skin of my teeth. It was a great game, Alex, if you're watching. I really enjoyed it. We always have good ones. Definitely got some good luck on my side there with the top decks, with the ends and everything like that. Really close, really stressful, but I'm lucky to squeak out, and I'm 3-1. Round 5, I'm paired against a Blastoise. He whiffs the turn 2 Blastoise, which is really big. He got to go first, though, but it basically gives me the time to set up. I mess up with my Mewtwo math, actually, when he stacks big on a Keldeo. I had just lost my train of thought. I had prized 2 Eels, and I just had confused the fact that I needed 3 energy with 2, because I had assumed that because I had a level ball in hand when I was thinking that the electric was a guaranteed thing and that I'd be fine because he had already played a supporter. So then when I level ball and see that 2 of my Eels are prized, my train of thought goes to that I only need to hit an energy anyways, because I was thinking that the Eel was guaranteed, and I was like, oh, I just need the energy though. So that it just had this weird transfer of thoughts and just a mistake in my head. I just thought about it wrong, and so then I end up missing that. But thankfully, I'm able to just kind of come back. His kind of slower start had allowed me to do that, and so I end up pulling that one out, and I'm set at 4-1. Round 6, I'm paired against Darkrai, Bouffalant, Mewtwo. And we actually started Mewtwo War. This is so cool. He has DCE and Catcher for 2 of my Dynamos. And basically, he gets 3 energy on it. So I respond with a Mewtwo. He's able to have another DC and energy switch to knock out my Mewtwo. I'm able to Super Rod back in and get out more Eels and knock out his Mewtwo. And then finally, he is able to have another Mewtwo. He has a... I had retreated mine at one point just to make sure, trying to keep the energy off, the pressure off, all that jazz. I think I might have even actually taken a KO with Rayquaza. I'm not quite sure now, but it was kind of Mewtwo War-ish, if not exactly a Mewtwo War. And so in this last one, he basically has the catcher. He has the DCE. He basically needs an energy and an energy switch. He basically just needs one more energy switch, and I think there were like 2 or 3 in deck, and he ends to 2. He ends up whiffing it. I actually make a mistake and draw 2 prizes instead of 3. I had actually knocked out a Sableye, which I forgot. That's why I was able to get that 1 energy off my Mewtwo, and also how I got to odd prizes. But I actually drew 2 cards off of it, one of which was a Lightning, and then my top deck was a Lightning. So he's, after I put down the Lightning, there was kind of that scary moment where he's like, why'd you draw 2 cards off the end? I showed him I had another Lightning in hand, though, and he was a good sport about it, and, he didn't call a judge or anything like that, and he was just like, okay, then, obviously you had game. So, I'm thankful for that. It was a very, respectful thing to do. I would have done the same thing, honestly, but, kind of a scary moment. I just forgot I had KO'd the Sableye, and, I got lucky on that one. I really could have gotten burnt, and, oof, that was probably the worst thing I did all day. But thankfully I won the game. Gotta be careful though. And round 7, I'm paired against Squeaky, who has been featured on the channel way back when. He was running CMT, and I forget who he played against. It was a Battle Road though. So kind of a throwback. I think he was playing against someone playing Darkrai or something like that. But he's a really cool guy, really nice. And this was actually the first time I had actually met him. But I had talked to him on Facebook and stuff like that. And he's been really nice and always, commenting on the channel and stuff like that. And I definitely appreciate his, viewership and all that stuff. So it's cool to meet him. Shout out to you, Squeaky, if you're watching. And he's playing Hydreigon. Basically what happens is that I just have a turn where I'm able to get off the Dragon Burst before he can really hit me with whatever Hydro Gun's tech's called. I think it's Dragon Blade or something. I'm a little shaky on that. I know what it does. I know it does 140 for the energy cost and all that jazz. But basically, I get to take his energy off the field when he's kind of dead drawing. He was having a lot of trouble getting out Darkrai. I think maybe some Ultra Balls and Darkrai's price and stuff like that. But pretty much from there, he just dead draws, and I'm just Eels can play the board, so my draws don't really matter as much. So kind of getting a little bit lucky there too, but I did go second again. So, bad luck with the coin flips, but good luck in some other departments, guess balancing it out. So I end up going 5-1. I'm feeling good. I just need to win one of my next 2 games to guarantee cut. And the next round, I'm playing Heather Lynch in the mirror. I think she's an Oklahoma player. I definitely know who she is. We know a lot of mutual people. So that was cool. I had never met her before, but I definitely knew who she was. I knew she was, very well regarded as a really good player and all that. So I also know that I think she was the person that Ty Smith so famously Celestial Word 3 energy against or something, ridiculous like that. Can't not smile at that. That's too funny. It's not funny when it's against you, but the idea is funny. But anyways, we're playing the Great Eels Mirror. This is where not running a Raikou comes into play. It's really a hard matchup when you don't. I feel like I put myself at a disadvantage in the mirror because I didn't think it was going to be as prevalent. I really thought the field would be a lot more Blastoise than it was. Not that there wasn't a lot, but just I thought it was going to be overwhelming like the Chicago Marathon. I was wrong in that respect. It was definitely the most played deck still and definitely had a big showing, but it wasn't quite as big as I thought it would be. So she gets to go first. She gets 3 lightning in the discard turn 1. I make a mistake on my turn, and I could have gotten out 3 Dynamos, but I swore one of them was, or 2 of them were prized. Actually, only 1 was in reality. I only found it out on a top deck, and I was just so confused. So unfortunately, I misplayed there, but I had some dead draw spells, and there really wasn't much I could do. She, ran hot and kind of exploded, which is what Rayquaza is built to do, which is something I really didn't do all day, which is a bit unfortunate. And I just end up, getting 6-0'd. I get crushed. I'm not going to lie. She had catchers too and just hit my Rayquazas as soon as I could drop energy on him and maybe get like 1 Dynamotor to save up 2 to try and knock out a Rayquaza. It wasn't pretty. She beat me pretty bad. So feeling a little shaky. 6-2. Still feeling good though. I know I have another round. And, I've been playing well all day. And, I felt like my deck was bound to just explode one of these games. My last matchup, however, is against the Spursha Eels. Again, this is probably not the best matchup because I don't have the Raikou while they do. They also rely on Eels a lot less than I do, so there's that. I need to be one-shotting them. I need to apply pressure. I get to go first in this game, which is huge. I have the Rayquaza Donk pretty much in hand if I have it. He has 1 lone basic. I am just like hoping. It sounds bad that you want a Donk, but it just would have been a huge relief. Unfortunately, he flips over the Mewtwo, so we're playing a game. Basically, on my second turn, it comes down to can I get 2 Lightning in the discard and 2 Eels up, and I have the Dragon Burst to knock out this Mewtwo. And it would have been a really, really big opening. Unfortunately, I whiffed by just 1 card. Kind of heartbreaking. So I missed this window. And he's able to just stack on this Mewtwo. I don't have access to mine based on the cards in my hand. And he ends up 2-shotting my Rayquaza, which is kind of crazy. So the Mewtwo is useful, but I just guess I didn't have it when I needed it and stuff like that. But basically from there, he's able to Raikou me, and it just kind of falls apart. I just didn't feel like it was a very good matchup for me. He definitely played it very well, so props to him for making cut. Nice guy. It was, a very seriously toned game just because it's, a game for cut and regionals, and unfortunately I lost. I ended up going 6-3 and whiffing cut. Of course, all the 7-2s made it though, and none of the 6-3s, which is kind of nice that all the 7-2s made it. That potential bubble would have been disgusting. I would have liked to have made it, but there are a couple of 6-3s even ahead of me on resistance, and that's how this goes. I did get kicker points, so I went up to 120 points, and that actually does put me in first in Arkansas by a single championship point, which is a little ridiculous, but I'm happy with how I played overall. I think the one thing is just that I didn't predict the meta perfectly. I didn't run super hot. I'm really happy with how I did based on, I didn't run cold. I just kind of ran meh. That's how I'd say, my deck ran. Overall, I felt like I did what I could. I made a few misplays in terms of 30 damage snipes, and I 2 times evolved the wrong Eels. Fortunately, I was able to still win both those games. Those are big misplays, and I still mad at myself for doing it. But I definitely had some rough luck in some senses and some luck on my side in others. But I think that's the format. It's not a guarantee that you're going to do well in it, but it does require skill to do well. So it's kind of this weird, good players can have bad days, but it's harder for not as good players or not as experienced players to have really good days. I mean, there are exceptions on both sides and all that, but I picked a deck that's a little on the riskier side. It didn't quite pay off as much as I'd like, and that's unfortunate, but I still overall feel good about my experience. Again, I had a wonderful time meeting so many people, and that really helps with whiff and cut. I'm sad that it was a do or die, and once again, the second regional in a row that I've whiff cut, losing in the last round. But overall, I feel pretty good. I'm really excited about states in the new set. I really haven't checked it out much, so I really don't know what's going to be good or what really anything is going to be. I don't know anything about it, to be honest, and I'm just waiting for those scans so we know officially what's in the set. I don't want to really make too many predictions. That happened with my boundaries cross, testing things like ether. Was kind of a waste of time. But I hope you guys enjoyed this regionals report. I know I enjoyed, revisiting my regionals experience. It was wonderful. And make sure you guys rate, like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And I should have just a few more Boundaries Crossed tournament matches that I think I'll try and get posted soon, as well as some hopefully Plasma Gale or Plasma Storm or whatever our new set is called. I should really know that, but it's just escaping my head. I'm sorry. But I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will catch you guys later.